All right, fellas. Today is a pretty big podcast. I think it's probably two more than anybody ever thought we would get to. Episode 3 of the California Wrestling Girls podcast. We have a special guest today that I don't think anybody was ready for, and we were pretty lucky to have her. And we're actually going to add her on right now, and that's Cheyenne Bowman. So, Mario, while I bring her up, why don't you go ahead and give us a little background on what you know about our California's Fargo National Champ at the cadet level.
Oh my goodness. Well, I probably don't know as much as some of these Southern California people, but I remember her coming onto the scene in junior high and beating some well-known California high school state champions coming up. So when she was a freshman this year and she was winning all these tournaments and doing her thing, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew it was coming. I'd seen her a couple of years ago at Freak Show at the original Battle on the Midway, beating some really big name girls. And so, yeah, this whole rise to awesomeness is really no surprise to me. I saw the bulldozer coming a long way.
Josh, what are your thoughts on our very good?
We're from Southern California, so we've been seeing Cheyenne beat up on boys and girls, but mostly boys for the last, 4 or 5 years with the Pounders, hanging out with Alex and Cam and our coaches, other coaches, and just at these local tournaments, just destroying boys, making them cry. I mean, just imposing her will upon anybody she wrestles, boys or girls, and just, knocking it out.
Okay. How you doing, Shy?
I'm good.
Good. Mind if we call you Shy or Miss Bowman or Champ? I don't know. What do you prefer?
That's fine.
Okay, Shy's fine. Okay. So I'll have you as the main screen right now. We're going to kind of go in order. So it'll be myself and then Josh and then our man Mario. We're going to kind of go in order and ask questions one at a time. We don't want to overload you. Different things. So first of all, how you feeling getting that Fargo title off your back?
Feels good. Yeah.
Cool. Josh, go ahead.
I'm sure a lot of people are asking, how did you get so good? What are your training regimens? How many times a week are you training? Who are you training with? Who are you coached by? That kind of stuff. Walk us through it.
Okay, well, I train during season once a week, during the summer or off season, like twice a week in the morning and at night. My training partners are the Pounder kids, like Alex, Fernando, Ronnie. My coach is Camilo Ramirez.
Awesome.
All right, Mario, go ahead.
So when I first kind of saw you kicking everyone's butt throughout middle school and working your way up to ninth grade, and people were talking about you, they were like, yeah, she's an MMA girl. So what other stuff do you do besides wrestling? And how does that influence your game on the mat?
I used to do MMA when I was younger. I started when I was 5, and I was getting good. And my MMA coach, his name's Bruce, he told me if I wanted to get better and stuff, I needed to start wrestling. So I was doing MMA and stuff and wrestling at the same time. But then I kind of grew on wrestling, so I put MMA aside and just been wrestling since I was 6 and a half.
So I don't mean to double up on my question, but I'm
going to.
Are you planning on going back into MMA when college and the Olympics and you're already the world champ? Are you going to go and get back in the cage? Is that in your future?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
All right.
All right, Cheyenne. So so they kind of touched base on that. You've been kind of, on the scene for a minute. Everybody's known who you are. They saw you coming. Can you walk us through the mentality of chasing down number one? I mean, you came in, you really didn't hesitate. You immediately sought out competition and actually probably the most deepest competition you could think of in Gracie Figueroa. Can you walk us through how that came about and your mindset in terms of approaching that?
Well, I've always been taught to chase the competition, not to back down from anybody, and it's not I just want to know like where I'm at, and like if I want to be the best and I have to beat the best, and it's like, yeah.
Josh, go ahead.
Mario took my question on the follow up, but that's all right. So coming into your, freshman year, winning state, what are your goals beyond high school? I mean, are we talking? I think you might be too young for 2020. I mean, 2024 is definitely on the radar.
Well, first I want to compete in the senior level in 2 years when I'm eligible and try to win that to go to the world team and be like kind of like what Pico did.
Right.
Mario?
Awesome.
So now with the upcoming high school season, you're obviously, well, you were never a secret to us, but to the rest of the state, it's no longer a secret. Now you've got that big target on your back. What do you do to stay hungry? What are you going to do to stay on top and not let these up and coming young bucks take your spot?
Just keep working hard and pushing in the wrestling room.
Okay. So back to my original question. When you're chasing Gracie down, I mean, a lot of girls come in and they make a big splash. Especially when you're a freshman phenom, people kind of you sometimes they run the table. And not that they don't look for competition, but maybe they don't know who to go to or who to go after. But you went out there, like I said, you chased the biggest and the baddest. And then that first match doesn't go your way. How do you stay motivated and go after that second match? Like, what's going through your mind, and what was different between the first match and the second match?
Well, the first match I was starstruck, like because of her name and stuff. But then, the second match, well, in between those two matches, I kept pushing harder and training harder because I really don't like losing, and it's no like. And then the second match, I just went out there and was like, well, I trained hard for this, and I know what like I'm capable of doing and stuff.
All right, Josh, go ahead.
Cheyenne, is there anybody in the nationally ranked girls or girls that you know of that really somebody you'd like to wrestle? Or I mean, is there somebody in your mind, or do you not care? Do you just want to wrestle anybody? What's your mindset?
Whoever is the best, I really don't care. Like, I don't really want to call. Like, I don't have anybody to call out. I just want to wrestle the best.
Awesome.
All right, Mario, go ahead.
So now I know we have the high school season coming up. What's your next international tournament you have your eye on?
I'm not. I'm just gonna focus on like high school season and like just keep getting better and improving.
Okay. All right. So Cheyenne, you said right now, like you're willing to wrestle anybody. The best of the best. It's evident that if you're calling out a world medalist, and a girl with Gracie's credentials, I'm pretty sure you're one of the few girls that are wrestlers in general. I shouldn't say girls. One of the few wrestlers in general who truly means it. Bring it, whoever you are. So with that being said, what's that? There's always that size advantage. So how far down are you willing to cut, to wrestle somebody, and how far up are you willing to go to wrestle somebody when you say take on all the covers? I mean, you just have to be realistic. You know what I mean?
I think 27s is probably the lowest, and 38s is the highest.
That's some pretty big names there too. I mean, you look at who won. I mean, within striking distance. Because I mean, there's some girls that are say, yeah, I'll go up. Okay, well, who won it at 27s? Okay, well, is the 22 willing to come up? I mean, Zapata was an animal, but I don't know what her regular season looks like. Going up to 38s, I think that puts Macy Kilty on the map. And I mean gosh, who wouldn't want to see that match, right? So, that's pretty impressive. When you say I'll wrestle anybody, and hey, I'll step up. That'd be pretty awesome. I 100% believe you on that also. But okay, Josh, go ahead.
My last question for you, Cheyenne, is what was your Fargo experience like? I mean, you've been hearing about Fargo from older kids, teammates, whatever. What was that experience like for you, and what were one of your highlights that you know was an awesome thing that experience for you?
Um, it was fun. It was a fun experience. Um, I don't know. I think I like probably like hanging out with my friends and stuff, and like getting to wrestle there was really fun.
And what could have made it like maybe better for you as an overall experience? One thing.
Probably having my coach there and being able to talk to everybody.
Just with the fraternization, no boys can talk to girls on opposite teams. I got you. Mario?
Okay. So being that we've already witnessed you run the game at both folk style and freestyle this past year. If USA Wrestling opened up a girls Greco division, would you participate in such an event? And what do you think?
I would because my coach is like a really big Greco guy and stuff, and it would be fun. I would definitely um participate in it.
Love to
Mario, just a quick question for you. Do you know who her coach is?
me,
Yeah. Do you know? Mario? Do you know
Camilla.
who her coach is?
I I I
Uh,
I know of him. I
okay.
know of him.
Okay.
I
You're
don't know
talking
him personally.
uh,
Yeah,
Open
no.
Champ, Sunkist Open Champ. I know probably Sunkist was before your time, but boy could bang. I'm just gonna say this, okay? Greco, Greco.
Yeah,
So let's do it. Let's do it. We got girls that are ready to throw, man. You know me. I've been pushing for this for 2 years now already.
You
People
heard
are
it
just
here
noticing
first.
it now
Cheyenne
because of Sage
Bowman
Mortimer.
wants to wrestle Greco.
She does.
Is
She
willing.
does.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to bring Coach into Cam. I apologize if you're around, but yeah, I'm sorry. Cam got some Greco. I'm just gonna tell you right now. These coaches think they got some chomps. Go
That's
ahead,
what I'm
go ahead,
saying.
go ahead
Let her
and
wrestle.
YouTube Camilo and you see some Greco. Okay, highlights. Okay, before there was Kamal Bay, there's Camilo. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. All right. Anyhow, so Cheyenne, we know that we've approached you about January 19th at the Esperanza tournament. We're going to set up a match, an invitational, if not an invitational, rotational, so we can try to get a matchup for you and one of those big name girls. So uh, don't think that we're sleeping on it. We're going to get somebody confirmed for you because you are the champ and you are willing to step it up and say, hey, let's see where I'm at. Now let's just wrap this up. I know you're busy. Um, your Fargo experience overall, you got that monkey off your back. You're just looking to get better. For you right now, for a young girl coming in, maybe they're an eighth grader. They just want to get better before they get to high school season. I know some people up in Santa Maria, Teresa Ramos, had asked us on Facebook, what would you say for an eighth grade girl? Would you say that she should still continue to wrestle boys, or do you think she should start trimming down now and wrestling only girls before her high school season?
I think she should practice with boys for sure, and I think it's good for her to still wrestle boys.
Josh, one of your last questions, please.
I'm good. I'm really excited. I was excited to see her come back and whoop up on Fargo. So congratulations. Thanks for joining us, Cheyenne.
Thank you.
Yeah, same. Same with me. I really don't have much else, but just thank you for representing the state and bringing one home for us. And congratulations on bouncing back from World. And we're happy to see you out there doing your thing. We're all cheering for you.
Thank you.
All righty. Hey, Cheyenne, thank you so much for making time for us. We're a big fan of yours. I'm from La Mirada, Whittier. So anybody in the La Mirada, Whittier, La Habra area, we all know how deep that area is, despite the fact that the rest of the country doesn't. We got Shy Bowman. We got Aaron Pico. We got the Valencia brothers. Alex is just right there over the hill. Like everybody's around that area. So deep area that's, I think, slept on. So anyhow, thank you so much for representing the state, your team, your family, and our city. All right. Take care. Have a good day.
Thanks, Shy.
Bye.
All right, fellas. There we go. That's the champ right there, guys. Take a good look. You're going to see a lot of her.
Yeah, just the beginning.
All right. Anyhow, fellas. Okay, we're back. It's just us. So.
Wow, no Valdivia today, man. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You know.
Not that he contributed that much anyway. Come on now.
Yeah. So we're gonna move.
He did have a better background than you guys, though.
Oh,
Significant.
I guess it depends who you ask.
So let's move on. Okay, so we're gonna go feedback, fellas. We're gonna go feedback. So, throughout this time, we've been asking people like what they think, how we're doing, if there's anything we could be doing better, because we don't think we're perfect. We know we're not perfect. So, some positive feedback. Shy's mom, and Shy's mom's known as we helped. It was a group effort to get Shy to her first folk style national championship. There was some hiccups. We're not going to say we're perfect on that. Summer Wrestling was the team she wrestled for. We got her some gear. We tried to make sure she had a place to stay. That got a little bumbled up. The Rebels were transporting her out there, so it was like a team effort. Rebels are transporting her out there. They got there late. Stuff happened, and people don't know this, but Cheyenne actually won her first Oklahoma national championship, and she got like 3 hours of sleep. They couldn't find the place, or they got there late. They didn't want to wake anybody or something, and they ended up sleeping in the van. And then she came out and she beat a world bronze medalist, majored her. She really did a good job, So, Rebels drove her. We gave her a team to wrestle for. I think it ended up USA Wrestling gave her a place to stay at the end because they knew some people. But Shy's really good, and some of our first feedback comes from Cheyenne's mom on the topic. She on the podcast. She puts good topics. Thank you guys. The love everyone shows for Shy. Appreciates it. She's my heart. Just good stuff. Overall. Rich Valdivia, how are you gonna miss a match with one wrestler because of our video? We had some other people that were a little bit more critical. People upset about the background that we had on probably Valdivia. He's a comical guy, and I think people that know him understand it. He's just having fun. Stuff like that. People wondering how we're going to make a change, how we're going to make a difference. Like this podcast, I think we would all agree. If change occurs, that's great. We're just having an open dialogue about what we see, how we think things could be better. Not that we have all the answers. Definitely not putting anybody on blast. I think I try to make sure that I only mention people in a positive light. If I have a discussion with somebody, if I, point out to something to somebody, I try to make sure that I preface it with the idea that, that it's good conversation. That's all, and that we're not trying to be derogatory towards anybody or anything. However, with that being said, you just can't please everybody all the time, and I'm not one that likes to be bullied. I'm not one that I don't think anybody likes to be bullied. I shouldn't say I'm not one, but Mario, I think you'd agree, right? You're not the kind of person that likes to be bullied. Josh,
not at all.
I think as wrestlers, we have strong personalities, and I think that when we feel like we're being bullied, we have two options. We can allow that, or we can make it known that what, bullying is not going to be tolerated. And we don't want this podcast to be slamming anybody. We don't want this podcast to seem like a bitch session, because it's not. We aren't about slamming anybody or anything like that. So I want to get this out of the way, because I want to make it very clear that bullying is not appropriate. And I'm not going to say anybody's name. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the insight of what we're dealing with. Okay. Because my daughter, I posted up on Instagram, on the Instagram story, give us some topics or things you want us to talk about. And she asked, why do people dislike Somar when all you want to do is help? I agree. That's what we're about. But I got a text message today from somebody, and obviously somebody that we deal with. But it says, hey, Richard, if you're going to pull anything please pull anything from social media and podcasts with my name involved. Podcast posts, actually anything you want to discuss now or in the future involving me. I'll delete some stuff. Mud flies in both directions. don't want to have to do my own podcast about your last trip to Fargo or clubs trips. I'd appreciate if they came down. Now, listen, the worst thing that I could say about my clubs trips is just what I told you about the trip to Oklahoma with Cheyenne. And her mom has been nothing but gracious and understood everything that happened on that trip. And that's the end of it. I'm going to let it die there. Okay. Now, if somebody else wants to slander us because we're having a discussion, then you know what? I can't stop you. I can't stop you from that. And these men right here on the podcast with me could have easily backed away and put their hands up and been like, hey, I don't want any part of this, because they don't want to be caught in it, because they also got text messages. All right. But for the time being, I just want this to be known. Okay. We aren't doing anything wrong. And if we are, please feel free to pick up the phone, email us, message us. You can get a hold of us in a million different ways: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. We do not want to be bullied, and we will not allow ourselves to be bullied. All right. You guys have anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm already bored with the subject, and I'm sure everybody listening is bored with this as well. And I'm ready to move on. It's taken on enough of our time. But the truth is that us questioning the system and having questions about procedure, a lot of it's just because we don't know. And it's not us saying that this person in power is screwing up or this person. It's us. If we really have a question and we don't know it, we're going to ask it online. Feel free to come online and answer it like a grown adult. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm not here to sit here and waste any more time. I prefer us talking about girls wrestling. We've got a good show today, and let's just move on from the bullshit.
Great. Josh, you good?
Yeah, Mario said it well. I think that our main intent before we even agreed to put this thing together when Fargo was going on was, let's highlight the girls that are wrestling in California, representing California. Let's highlight them, honor them, give them some notoriety that they don't normally get in women's wrestling. It's a pretty thankless sport. The newspapers don't cover it. The news definitely doesn't cover it. ESPN might cover it in a body issue, but it's basically not anything to do with wrestling. It has to do with, a pretty face or a nice body.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on from the Emma haters then. All righty. Let's see here. So on the docket today, first up, Josh, junior
Yes.
wrap up, baby. Let's hear it.
Junior wrap up. California juniors also took the title, national title. I think it's our 7th straight. We're keep rolling through, kicking butt. We had one champion. I'm gonna just do the stats first, and then I'll go through and name them all. We had one champ, 2 seconds, 3 fourths. 4 thirds, 0 fourths, 3 fifths, 6 2 sixth place, 3 seventh place, and 5 eighth places. We kind of we were in, I think, 200 pounds. I think we had first, second, third, and eighth, just off the top of my head.
Hey, let's not glance over that. First, second, third, and eighth. First, second, and third live about 5 miles apart. Like, think about that. They live 5 miles apart in San
where it gets even crazier? What'd you say? First, second, third, and eighth, right? Mm-hmm. We also have the number 1 ranked girl in the country at 200 pounds, and she wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Think about how deep our state is right now at 200 pounds. Our heavyweights are loaded up.
Yeah, and I know Castillo's going to wrestle for Lee Miracle, right? He flew all the way out and signed her. So obviously we got some talent. If he's flying out to do the signing, that's a big grab.
Yeah,
it says a lot. And to be honest, at Freestyle State, the battle between her and the 3rd place girl, oh my gosh! If anybody has track wrestling, can go back and watch that state match. Do yourself a favor. It went down to the line. Those girls were grinding. Yeah, so I can't say enough about that. And at 200 pounds, our girl who took 3rd, who's also from Monroe, who's that San Fernando Valley area, she was up on the number 1 ranked girl in the country at 200, and I think she was up 6-0, 6-0, and then tried to reverse headlock from the top, got a little loose, and the girl rolled on her and pinned her. Like, not coulda, shoulda, woulda, I know, but dang, that's impressive. All right, sorry, Josh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Okay, so the individuals that we got were at 100 pounds. We had Lizette Rodriguez place third, and Pauline Granados place sixth.
Granados, I
Uh,
loved it. That kid, seeing her come along, man, it's been a fun journey. I think she's had some disappointments even this season, but to see her get over that hump and get that AA for Carter High School and Coach Chavez, I think that's awesome. Mario, what do you say about Lizette? You had a lot to say about her coming in.
And the crazy thing is from she's just a total different wrestler from last year to this year. She was I mean, we knew who she was, but she wasn't on the map. And so all of a sudden she shows up, she makes the state finals now. Would she take third at Fargo? I mean, everyone knows who she is now. She's no secret going into next
and
year.
she won Oklahoma, right?
She won, yeah. And so it's just it just goes to show hard work because there was nothing I don't want to say nothing special about her, but she was just a hardworking wrestler her freshman year, and then she comes back this year and is just astounding, off the wall, beating
Wait,
everyone. So it's just
she's a sophomore?
I'm pretty sure she's a sophomore. Yeah,
She's still gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm just like,
She's
whoa.
going into her junior year. If I'm correct, she's
I
gonna
think
be
you're right.
she's going into her junior year. I've been wrong before, not very often, but
Okay. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
All right, at 117, we had Aliyah Rollins, maybe Aaliyah Rollins, fifth place, Samantha Berrigan, seventh place, and Alicia Navarez, eighth place.
Nice. Deep.
hey, Navarez is legit too. That's another one to keep an eye on. That girl can scrap.
She's out of where?
So on the north coast, if my memory's right, Arroyo High School, I
Okay.
think.
And
Once
Rollins,
again, don't kill me if I'm wrong.
yeah, I think Rollins, is she the Granada Hills girl?
Well,
Birmingham?
the Birmingham girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough girl, man. Tough. She's got I like her, the way she wrestles for her body type, I think is just right. She's long, she shoots, and it's just right. It's just right. We took a loss to her, pretty close loss to her at state, but she just got better at Fargo too. You could just see it. Jimmy's doing great things out there.
27s, we had Nia Gaines, who we talked about last podcast, take third place, and Mary Lopez taking, oh, no, just Nia at 27s. Mary Lopez took fifth at 132s.
Okay. Where's Gaines from?
Bear Creek High School.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Bassage, right? Bassage area?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well coached out there. Naya's as tough as they come, and she's getting better every time I see her wrestle.
Okay.
38s, we had finalist Anya Drury, and we also had a sixth place in Destiny Ling, and the eighth place at Dahlia Garbe.
Deep weight class. So I'm super proud of Anya Guri. I super am. I mean, we're fortunate she represents Somar Select, but she's from Westminster High School. She's a loyal Lion. There are Lions out there. She came out at state, taking second her freshman year. Came out. I think she took a loss to Ling earlier in the year. I think at your tournament, right, Josh? Your tournament. I think she took a loss to the.
Well, is Ling the
from down south?
Yeah, Helix Charter. Helix.
Yeah. Shredded, just
yeah,
yeah. And then
that was a great
came out of state. Yeah, and then Anya came out of state. It's kind of one-sided, and then they went to freestyle state, and then got it back after winning folk style nationals, and then seeing both of them all American. But Anya taking out Caden Campbell 8-0, and then pinning in the semis. I think it kind of maybe took away some of that that shade that she had when she beat Boyd at in Irving, Texas. Really showed that she was on the map. I mean, she was having a dominant performance throughout the tournament anyway. She's pinning her way through, but I think that kind of put everybody on notice. Like, okay, wait, she actually could wrestle. So I think that was good for Anya. I'm super proud of her. My daughter is super proud of her. I know that they work a lot together, but super happy for them, and the coaches out there at Westminster are doing a good job.
Continuing at 144, we had Emily Patnow placing 8th.
Okay.
I think she's a Northern Cal girl, right, Mario?
Yep, Newark Memorial, and that girl is 100% legit, no joke.
I mean, that's good at that weight class too. We have a San Diego section, a southern section, and a northern section. That shows a lot of depth throughout the state, not just in one area.
At 152, we had Gianna Anaya placing 7th.
Tiger. She's a San Fernando Tiger, dude. Anaya's been around for a while with Para. They've been on the circuit for a minute, and they put in a lot of work. Coach Arana and the whole staff out there. San Fernando has one of those admirable traditions, where the whole community, they have generations of Tigers there. You know what I'm saying? Like the parents went to San Fernando, their kids go to San Fernando, and it's like the community's really good there. And then they do a really good job with their nonprofit. They get the kids a lot of help out there.
Oh man, if you've ever been to a kids club tournament, they show up with like 80 kids at a kids. How they organize 80 kids to show up, and they've got about a third of them are girls usually. I mean, little kids from 5, 6 years old up to junior high. There's 80 kids. They'll fill a tournament up just on their own.
And they're at every tournament you go to. Anytime you go out of the area, there's at least a handful of them sprinkled in there, and you're like, oh, okay, it's good to see them there. I see them everywhere. Even someone like myself from the other side of the state, it's like, oh man, I see these guys everywhere.
Yeah, they do a great job, and they have really good community. Coach Jess, I've known Jess since I started coaching at Panorama, so it's been a while. About 5 years or so. But as a competitor, man, you don't want to be on the other side of those guys, man. They are intense competitors. Going into the Tiger House, man, it's rough. But they do a good job from the kids all the way up. They do a great job. They really do. So good job to those, to Anaya out there.
At 164, we have Aliyah Abushi, and she got 8th place for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the knockout round, she wrestled Journey Frazier. Oh, so I was frustrated because, it's great. You have two California girls that are facing each other in the bubble round. Kind of stinks, but you got to look at it too of like, wow, they both made it that far. They're both All-American quality. And especially when it's not a one-sided win, when it's actually like competitive. Because there's a couple times Frazier got behind, and Abuji, she should teach a class in core strength because she stayed up in quad pod, and Frazier's a strong girl and she's explosive. She didn't move that rock. Abuji was just, and I was just like, man, not even, like, she got there twice and couldn't score it. Impressive. Just impressive.
We had a couple ones that I can remember where California has taken out California in the blood rounds. At 100, Lizette took out Haley Ward.
Dude, Ward looked phenomenal. Did she not?
Right.
Great. She's kind of had some up and down performances, but she came out at Fargo, man, and she was holding position. There's a call there that maybe I think probably swayed the match a little bit in terms of how she could have approached it and stuff like that. But man, Ward looked good. It was good to see Ward come out and have a performance that you kind of see wrestlers and you think like, oh yeah, that kid, they got something. You don't really see it. They're like, oh man, I guess I was wrong or something. But then she comes out and has a performance like that. You're like, yes, that's it.
And the great thing is she got to All-American as a cadet too, so it's not like she walked away and that was the blood round and game over. So she did get to All-American once, so that was awesome.
What do you think? Do you think that plays a role too in how a kid performs when they do cadets and they do juniors and they All-American as cadet, they come in with a little bit more of a confidence, a little more chip on their shoulder because they know, hey, I'm an All-American.
Yeah, and especially in the same tournament, you get that nerves out. Okay, I'm done wrestling now. We're just at a regular tournament. Yeah, they might be a little older. They might be a little tougher, supposedly, but a lot of times, these cadets will do better at juniors than they will cadet.
Yeah, well, especially if they do well at cadet and they All-American, I think they kind of get that monkey off their back, so they come out juniors guns blazing, like, cool, man, I've already All-American. What's the worst that can happen here? I still go home and All-American. And that's when you see a lot of the growth show, when these girls are out here trying new stuff, going after these high-level girls, that it's like, you know what, I got nothing to lose right now, so I think it's pretty cool to watch the cadets out there with the juniors giving it their all.
Awesome. All right, go ahead.
Continuing at 180, we had Emily Sandoval place 5th and America Lopez place 7th.
America's another one of those young up and comers. I think she's a freshman this year, and I I heard about her last year because we were just, kind of talking about tough girls coming in, heavyweight, stuff like that, and talking about how to fill up the select team this year and who we wanted to try to work with. But Brian Peterson's out there in Valencia High School, and what Peterson's doing out there is really big. It's really big because Valencia area by Magic Mountain really hasn't had a lot of wrestling. It's been kind of forgotten. And Peterson's gone out there. It started the whole program all over again and just doing good things. You see him a lot.
Chance Rich on the boys' side that he did a really good job with.
Yeah. Chance. Okay, next.
At 200, that's where we had the log jam for real. We had Alex Castillo wrestling Adelina Parra in the finals. Alex coming out victorious in that one. Alina getting second. And then we had third place, Angela Buenonostro got third place. And Juliana Bali placing 8th at 200. So 4 out of 8 were batting pretty good there.
Yeah.
We talked about
definitely came through with the 200-pound weight class. Congratulations, ladies. That was impressive.
And how many? And look at those two. And there's 2 coming back next year. With the 2 and 3 coming back next year. So man, and they had a great sem. Did you see the semifinals match? They're going at it, and Buenastoro had a lead, and then Parra came back out. Got those under over. Talk about Greco.
Just like that they're so offensive. They're going out there and they're trying to throw each other. I like it. It wasn't boring matches at all.
No, just Mario's Greco just over under.
Yes.
All right, then who do we got bringing it up?
At heavyweights, we had Cristina Santoyo placing 3rd at 225. So I call it heavyweight. It's not, it's the heaviest weight the girls have. So
yeah, dude. Have you ever met these girls? The girls from Monroe High School out there in the valley.
Yeah, I have.
Love those kids, man. When they first got in there, I told Coach Ramirez, I go, dude, these girls are hilarious. They're awesome if they stick with it because they're both strong as bulls. But they're sweethearts, and you see them and they're goofy. And it's funny, and he's always photoshopping them into pictures. It's hilarious. Like, yeah, when we won the junior state title, they were under Somar, and she wasn't there. She had left early. Like after she got her medal, she had to go, and he photoshopped her head, and it looked so good. I was like, gosh, he's getting way too good at that. He uses that notepad on his phone. The note stylus really good. So all right. So with that being said, let's get into some discussion about it. The way that Fargo's set up, all right, the current display right now, does it display which team is the best or merely which team has the most girls? When you look at it, California took 66 girls. Washington, who took second place, took 35 girls. What do you guys think about maybe? And I mean, it sounds weird that we're even going to debate this because you don't want to sound like you're cutting back opportunities for girls. But in a situation with Fargo, when it's supposed to be the premier event, the creme de la creme, all right, should we be taking maybe just the top 2 and letting them score? What do you think?
I think that we should take as many as USA Wrestling will let each state take. It just gives the opportunity for somebody like, especially when like a kid makes the state tournament for the first year, they might go 0-2, but they've gotten that monkey off their back. So next year, especially if they're underclassmen, they come, they say, I've already been here. I know this. I know where to go to weigh-ins. I know where, on deck staging is. I know all the little things that might calm their nerves. I think we take as many as are allowed to take. It just gives more opportunity for girls. If other states can't fill that, that's on them. That's not. They'll punish us because they can't fill their brackets and they don't have enough participation.
I think a good way to get the best of both worlds is, because I agree with actually both of you in this regard. We do want to have a true national championship and gauge who has the best wrestlers, not who has the most wrestlers. But at the same time, we are all about growing women's wrestling, and we want the most growth possible. So I propose something like this, where you can bring as many as you want, like we have set up right now, or X amount allotted for each state or whatever. Don't change the number of girls we're bringing, but only score your top 2 per weight class. So your top two girls in this weight class score X amount of points. That's how many points you score. Because then we're actually gauging who has the better wrestlers, not who has more wrestlers. Now, however, you see it's a slippery slope then, because now what are we going to get into the boys too? Illinois comes deep every year with their boys wrestling Greco and freestyle, and they run away with it every year. So I know we're just kind of we're kind of wishing on a star out here, but in my opinion, that'd be a perfect world. Keep the number that the states get, but only score your top two per weight class, and then we get a true idea of who has the best wrestlers, not the most wrestlers.
In that scenario, though, Mario, Texas and Wisconsin would have beat us because they both had 2 champs.
Well, you know what? You know what? Congratulations, Texas and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing too, is because I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I actually think Mario's proposal is probably the best, the one that I agree with the most. But on the other side of it too is, and Rob Valario said this, Fargo's not for everybody. And if you want the premier event, I mean, what's to prevent us from saying, okay, well, why don't just every girl go to state then, and we'll just find the best ones. I mean, it just doesn't. I would like Fargo to go back to the way it was, where it was like, okay, your best against my best, and let's, and make it easier for the coaches to say, hey, look, we don't got to worry about 66 girls. You got to worry about 24 girls, or whatever, 28 girls, and just go out there and hammer, and you can go to all the other, I mean, there's how many national tournaments these days? Everybody's a national champ, but at, whatever. So, but I think, Mario, yeah, that's probably the best balance, because, yeah, you don't want to, there's something to be said too for somebody who goes on a run. I mean, I don't know what Haley took at Freestyle State, but let's just use Haley as an example. If she took a third, and she goes on this run that she did at Fargo, where she's an All-American, almost a double All-American, maybe we'll miss some of those. So, yeah, I think maybe I can get on Mario's proposal probably the most with that one. But with that being said, though, 66 girls, you got to look at, we've been doing this for a while, taking this big number of girls and pushing them out there and trying to balance the idea of who's going to coach them. Now, typically, I think in a regular high school setting, it's easier to balance girls because you have a 45-minute rule. You have only so many girls on your team that you have in the tournament. If you have 14 girls, one coach can do 14 girls because there's only so many. They can't wrestle when they don't have a coach in the corner, those kinds of things. At Fargo, that's not the place. Fargo, it's boom, 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 boom. You can wrestle every 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. They're trying to get you going. I don't know about 10 minutes, but I'm just being, you're just saying it. But you don't have a time limit. They can go and they can go and they can go. And you have 6 coaches with 66 girls, and they're running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. And we've had 2 instances where girls got concussions and were pulled. One of them actually was really bad. If you saw Jasmine Clark, she went off the platform onto the ground. No coach in the corner. I believe Life University coach was there. Got somebody to get somebody. Another one was Alina Gomez. Hit her head. Now, not saying it's the coach's fault, because those injuries could happen either way. Not saying that, but I think that for me personally, if somebody asked me like, what do you think about that? And I said, well, I think personally, I don't think it would hurt to have more coaches. Maybe 5 kids to every 1 coach. Mario brought it up. Hawaii brought up, hey, if you have a bronze card coach, you can come out and you can coach kids. And I don't think every coach who had a kid flew out. And I don't think that would be the same thing either. If if Westminster can't make it, then hey, Somar's going. So if Los Alamitos can't make it, okay, Somar's going. Because their girls wrestle on the club. So I don't think it's every coach is going to go out there, but I do think we should have something where, okay, a criteria set where if we want to add coaches, this is how we're going to do it. And for me, I think step 1 would be like, okay, if you're a coach who has more than 1 girl on the Fargo team, you should definitely have an ability to be able to be there, because you already have a relationship with these girls. So if the girls got off the bus and you had 66 girls, you have 15 coaches or whatever, let's say five coaches, 12 coaches, okay? They're holding signs above their head, okay? Those 5 girls go to that coach. That coach is responsible for those girls, watching them during their workouts, learning their tendencies. They'll be the corner coach, and you don't have them be in line. You spread it out, a 94-pounder, a 116-pounder, a 138-pounder. So they're not all going to be wrestling at the same time. And you can learn their tendencies while they're there, and you can be in their corner when it's time for them to have somebody. And you're good. You're covered. What do you guys think?
I definitely like, like I've stated before, I think that the more qualified coaches that are willing to go, the better. I know the boys side, they have quite a few more coaches, and they're still shorthanded on coaching. I think there was 12, 14 official coaches, maybe something like that I saw in the picture. And then you got a bunch of volunteers that came that kind of help work tables and help coach as needed. Um, so I think that definitely more coaches can always help. And just like, I think we all are on the same page. A coach isn't going to prevent an injury. A coach can just be there to help explain to a parent that's watching on flow. Sorry, not track. Yeah, I was there. This is what happened, and maybe put a parent a little more at ease than they're watching on, flow, and their kids on the mat, and there's nobody to be seen. And it's no fault of anybody. We're not placing any blame on anybody. They couldn't have prevented, any sort of injury. It's just more of the ease and comfortability that a parent feels, with a little more, more bodies there to coach. It helps everybody. It eases the burden on the other the 5-6 coaches that are there, that they have to be. I've been, to plenty of trips where I'm coaching multiple kids, and I feel stressed. Like, oh, I got this kid. Okay, this kid's he's got this match in the bag. I got to go start this other kid that might need help too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just like I said on the last show, if I said I've never missed a match, I would be lying. As a coach that brought 36 girls to Oklahoma, it happens. There's times where even if you've got 2 or 3 girls, sometimes luck just happens and they're on the opposite side of the gym at the same time. So that, I can't sit here and say, oh, shame these guys, shame those guys. But on the other end of that, coming from a consumer's point of view, if I was a parent who dropped the $1,200 and sent my child to Fargo and my child got thrown off that table and there was no coach in their corner, I would probably be a little upset too. So I guess I can empathize on both sides of it. Thank goodness Ashley Sword was there to get to Jasmine right away and hopefully get her the trainer or whatever the situation may be. But I do think that the option to bring your own coach, it really hurts nobody. It hurts nobody, and it helps the state by alleviating situations like this where you have girls wrestling without a coach in their corner.
Yeah, because I think too. I mean, it's you're not having to pay for those coaches, and they're already background checked. They've already been cleared. Everything's fine. There's already a report going on with them. I don't see anything. I don't think anybody has too much of an ego to say that it's a bad idea. I mean, Hawaii has shown that.
Truthfully, it's like this. I would rather some Johnny come lately than an empty chair.
No, that's 100%. That's 100 because when you see, I mean, I've been on that side. I've seen my daughter injured. She went to Fargo injured, and her injury, was even worse. And even though she's injured, you don't know how bad if it got worse. You don't know. And then when you're trying to call somebody, and these coaches are busy. I mean, I was lucky to be at the era with my daughter when Diane George was running everything, because Diane George was the women's director, and Marcy, Julie Gonzalez, all these other women were the coaches. And so they coached. Diane George took care of all the other stuff. So she was the one calling me saying, hey, Ramos, don't worry about it. I got her. And just really put me at ease, talking with, some of the girls, some of the parents, they didn't know what was going on, and that's a hard thing, and they're busy. I get it. The coaches are busy, stuff like that. But I think the injury, takes priority, and informing the parents is definitely a priority, because those are our babies. I mean, whether they like to hear it or not, they are, So Josh, how did you feel? I mean, your daughter was injured, Josh. I mean, how was it handled? Did you get a call? Who'd you get a call from? How long was the call? Stuff like that.
I was working her upcoming match, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and I see injury default. So I'm frantically calling my wife, what's going on? And while she's not answering my call, on the phone with the doctors that were handling my daughter's injury. And so she ended up going to the emergency room, nothing wrestling related. It was more of a ongoing health thing she's had since last year and couldn't go to Fargo because of it. She went to the hospital, got some quick IVs. She was a little dehydrated, didn't cut weight, but still was dehydrated. And came back. She's feeling a little better now and getting back into it.
Good. We're happy she's doing better. That's for sure. So that's a scary thing. Okay. So moving on. Senior send-offs. All right. What we're doing here is basically we're not going to overlook anybody. We're not trying to overlook anybody. This is merely Fargo for most seasons is the end of the year. And it used to be like the last tournament before the high school season starts up again. So but the rest of the season seem to be extending. They seem to be like I see tournaments in August now. I'm like, holy smokes, never saw that before. But basically these are several wrestlers that are graduating, have finished out their career now, and we can honestly say, like, we're going to kind of miss seeing those people out there. So I'll go first, and I'll say first for me, and in no particular order, maybe weight class or something, I don't know, but I will say Angelina Gomez. Angelina Gomez came in from Texas after taking third. She took second in Fargo. She won Texas State the next year, took second in Fargo again, came out to California, won a state title here, took third in Fargo, and then won state again this year as a senior, and unfortunately didn't place this year. But my understanding was that she had some injuries. She had got a concussion while in Oklahoma, kind of affected her performance over in Irving, and then had an AC, I think, separation or something like that. And she was battling that off the mat for 6 to 8 weeks, going up to Fargo. I was still surprised she still made the weight, knowing that she was going to be off the mat that long. So, but good kid, just a good kid, good family. Did a lot for Northview and their success. So that's my first one. Josh, what do you got?
My first one, no particular order, is Caitlin Cardenas. She's always, smiley girl, super great kid, working hard. That first time I seen her wrestle before, and then my daughter went to a couple practices with her, and she's out hustling, selling these caramel candy apples to pay for her national trips. I mean, she wasn't just asking mom and dad for a handout or a GoFundMe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with GoFundMes, but when somebody's willing to work a little for it, it just, adds a little like, wow, that's pretty cool. Heck yeah, I want one of those. Just a great girl. Ended up, making the state finals this year, losing to Gracie. She was, going on to wrestle at Emmanuel with Angelina Gomez. They got a bunch of California girls over at Emmanuel this year.
Solid recruiting class, doesn't he?
I think my next two are going to Emmanuel too. So Mario.
Well, yeah, that's why we have Link out every year for the combine, the college combine, because he just puts in the work and he got himself a good solid class. He got Padilla also, right?
Yeah, that's my next one. Don't take her.
So yeah, I won't take it. No. Go ahead, Mario.
Okay, so first off, I want to say that it'd be really easy to just choose the 4 highest placers that I know, or blah blah blah. But these 4 seniors that I'm choosing in no particular order are all girls that I know personally, and that are awesome people, and that I feel that they deserve to get recognized. So my first one's going to be Trinity Ordina. She's great people. Her mom's great people. She's one of the Swamp Monster team moms. But the girl moved up here from San Diego. She's a 4-time state qualifier, which, I don't know how many girls can say that. An amazing wrestler. We brought her to Idaho this year, and she's out there wrestling on one shoulder, and we're in duels, and I don't want to have to put her out there, but I'm like, girl, we need a pin. And she goes out there and puts a girl on her head, gets our 5 points, comes back in the corner like, I got you, coach. And so as a coach, you know what I mean? I wish I had 100 Trinities, to be honest with you. So the girl's like family to me, and I am really going to miss not seeing her on the circuit next year.
Nice.
She going to school anywhere that you know of, Mario?
She's going to Tiffin University. I'm glad you asked that. They're in their inaugural season for Coach Gadd, and she's in good hands out there, and I expect her to do great things at 109 pounds.
Nice. All right, my next one, and like I said, again, in no particular order. I'm kind of struggling here not to go in order. I'll go with it. Screw it. So my girl Desiree Estrada. Desiree went 1-2 in state her junior year. Uh, Not the most athletic kid, for sure. Her coach Brian Jernigan was like, "Hey, I got this girl," and he did a great job of like keeping her in, keeping her focused. Her family ended up moving her senior year, and it was just one of those things where he's like, "It's her senior year, you can't take her away." So we started working right after high school season last year. Worked through the summer. She sacrificed not being with her family, made a whole lot of sacrifices. Went from being 1-2 at state, uh, and honestly, she could have ran. She could have ran. She had wins over Caitlin Cardenas. Took a loss to Caitlin after. But I mean, the kid was willing to take matches. I mean, Jimmy Bowers called me. He's like, Ramos, what weight is Estrada going for our tournament? And I said, well, she's actually in Mexico, Jimmy. She's not. I don't think she's gonna make it. We're gonna be there with some other girls. Well, oh man, we really wanted that. And I was like, well, okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give her a call. So I called her when she was in Mexico. She stepped up, cut her trip short, even though she hadn't seen her family in forever, and got back up here, made the weight, made all the way to the finals. And I guess she had a little too many tortas or something, but just doing some takedowns in the first period, looking good. And then Cardenas caught her with just a beautiful lat drop and then threw those legs in. But after that, it was just like, okay, you know what? You did a great job. You got a good win, took a hard loss. And she just turned that into a positive. And she ran through, took second in her regionals to Cheyenne Bowman, took second in our state qualifier to Bowman, and then goes on a run at state. A girl who, like I said, was 1-2 at state the year before, goes in and makes the finals at state this year against Bowman. And just if you just can't help but wonder if that buzzsaw just wasn't in front of you. Like I said, when she has quality wins over Cardenas and some other girls, it's just it's really good to see, and for somebody to work that hard. And she's going to be wrestling at Jamestown next year, which is huge. It's big for her. It's big for her family. It's big for Coach Jernigan and the whole Cerritos team. So we're gonna miss you, Desiree Estrada. Mario or Josh?
Like I said, my next one is Julia Padilla. She's just a fun girl. Always poking, making jokes, having fun. She kind of feels she's the black sheep of the family because she's the least accomplished of the wrestling. Well, if you're in that Padilla family, everyone else is a national champ. If you're not a national champ, you're like nothing. But she
Pat Smith of the Padilla family. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, when you're only in the finals of nationals and you're not winning it, you don't get to eat an extra helping or something. I don't know. But she's a great girl. Super fun to be around. It can have that balance of fun, and then when it's time to put her toe on the line, she's out there and she's gonna bring it. She's not afraid to brawl. The one thing I really enjoyed watching her, she'll brawl with anybody. She's not afraid of anybody. She'll step it up. She'll wrestle. Tough Northview girl. She's also going to Emmanuel, play second in state. Just all around great girl. Wish her luck.
Yeah. Mario.
Before I get too far into this, and I don't want to sound dumb, Brittany David is the coach at Lindenwood, right?
No longer.
No longer, but previous, up until just recent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that leads me to my next girl. I coached her at Elk Grove High School last year. She actually transferred in there her senior year because her little brother was going there. It's kind of weird. They had their two kids at separate schools. So Audrey Elgarico, brought over from Franklin High School the previous year, and qualified for state tournament. I want to say 2 times, maybe 3 times previous. But as tough as they come, anytime you transfer into a new school, it's difficult to learn a new system, especially when it's your senior year. You've got to sit the first 30 days. Her first tournament coming back was the Napa Valley Championship. And if my memory is correct, she walked out with 3rd place. So it was really awesome to be able to coach her this year. I can't sit here and say that I've coached her all 4 years, but I did watch her grow from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, and she ended up taking fourth place in state, knocking off some big girls on the way. Was Elk Grove High School's first Masters champion. Um, just a fantastic season overall. I'm super proud of her. Comes from a great family, mom and dad, fantastic family. I can't say enough good things about her. I'm gonna really miss her next year. She is going to Lindenwood. That's why I asked, and I can't wait to see many good things in the future from Audrey El Garico.
Nice. All right, my next one is somebody that honestly had undeservingly had their season cut short, and it was just a matter of circumstance. It wasn't that the kid wasn't training. It wasn't that the coaches weren't coaching. It was just the system here in Southern California is a little bit weird. But Journey Frazier, had her season cut short. A lot of political stuff went on in terms of like how they handled the situation. But neither here nor there. Journey didn't get to finish her senior year, despite placing at Napa, and really showing a lot of promise, working her butt off all year. And then came back after the regular season and was like, I didn't get to wrestle in state. Something's got to give. And so she went out and she ended up being an All-American in Oklahoma, and then was close to being an All-American at UWW's, and then was a match away from being an All-American in Fargo. So just a tough girl, but she always brought it. She always, was going to be just banging with you and super strong. Just it was always fun to watch Journey out there, and being able to see her get that All-American after having her season cut short. It was just good. It was good to see that kid got that opportunity. So, Josh?
My next one is Suhei Seha out of Corona High School. She's kind of a quiet girl.
You love us.
Quiet girl, hard worker. Always super strong. I mean, she gets on top, she's gonna do damage to you. Just what I really remember, both her junior year and sorry about that. Both her junior year and at nationals this year, I believe. I mean, she was so hurt that you would think it was her junior year at Masters. She was so hurt, like she couldn't walk, but she goes and wrestles through, qualifies for state, places in state. And then this year I think she was really banged up at Oklahoma, and I think still All-American too. Just a hard worker. She's also going to Tiffin. In that got recruited out there, so I just a good girl, local girl, right? I always try to follow all the girls around where I live. And
was she originally signed with Life?
I believe so. And
okay.
I don't know if she was signed or just maybe verbal, something like that, and then now she's going to Tiffin.
No, I'm just curious, that's all. Not just I thought I saw her signing, but okay, no, it's anytime they go off to the next level, dude, I'm always happy about that. Yeah. I always want that extra level. All right, Mario, next.
All right, fantastic. These last two are dang near like family to me. I guess you could say like daughters, but that makes me feel old. So I'd like to say they're more like sisters. You know what I mean? This one was one of the original Swamp Monsters. The girl would go. She went on our very first trip to Idaho when we only brought 6 girls. She went on a trip with me to Rocky Mountain Nationals last year when I only brought 3 girls. The girl's a 3-time state qualifier. She's also going to Lindenwood University. It's funny, we have 2 Tifton and 2 Lindenwood already in the mix here. That is Adrian, a.k.a. Pika Dominguez. And I can't say enough about this girl. She is hard-nosed. She is tough. You can put her out there in a fight against anybody and know that she's going to give it everything she got. I can't say enough about her. And it's funny because you see all these things that they have in common. Great family. You know what I mean? Pika's mom, super supportive. Anytime we needed to take her anywhere, Pika's mom's like, cool, sign her up. Let's go. Let's go do our thing. So when we went to Rocky Mountain National, Pika won the national title, came back with a fat belt. was super impressive. So American Canyon High School this year, and she will be at Lindenwood next year. And I'm gonna miss her on the circuit, but I'm excited to follow her college career.
Nice. All right, my next one is going to be a girl who she wrestled at the next school right next to us. She was Artesia High School, literally 2 miles from Cerritos. She's in our league. Uh, every time you saw her, she had a brace on. I'm like, God, this girl's broken all the time. Jeez, but then you saw her wrestle, and you don't wonder why. The girl would bang, and like I said, I like her a lot. She ended up being on the select team. She ended up All American after placing at high school state, All American for us at Oklahoma. Missed it in UWW, but Daisy Garcia is another one that you saw her go out there, dude, and she sweetheart. You see her on Instagram, you see her off the match, always smiling, and you see her get in there, and she's not afraid to get in there and bang, and give it what she had, and seeing her just tough it out. Some of those matches, she's really, digging deep, grinding it out, and she's just, she got her All American. And that was really cool to see. So Daisy's from Artesia High School is one that I'm gonna miss seeing next year.
So for since Rich couldn't make it today, I'll take two Central Section girls since he stole. I was going to do Angie Gomez also. My daughter happened to draw her first round of our Masters. So I'm gonna put two together, and unfortunately they've been lumped together for 4 years. That's Gracie and Aleda. Gracie Figueroa, Aleda Martinez. I think it's going to be sad to see them go, but exciting to see them move on to the next level and the world level. And, they're already going, competing everywhere and doing big things. I think there's probably some excitement from a lot of people, too, to see that as weight classes open up. Pretty much for the last 4 years, everyone has kind of said, oh, better go a different weight class if you want to win state. So to see them, they've had both amazing high school careers. Gracie going undefeated in high school, in the state is awesome. Aleda, I don't think she was undefeated, but she was a 4-time state champ. Just awesome. Excited to see them move on to the next level. Both great girls, really nice. Nothing but the best for them.
Nice. Mario, last one.
They're both going to Menlo, so I get to lump them together. Anyway, because they're going to the same college.
Same college makes it easy, huh?
Exactly.
Mario, last one.
Oh man, this last one. This one comes close to home. Just another one that's is just like family, like relative. We fight like family. She's stubborn, like one of my own daughters, and that's going to be your two-time state champion, Candace Corlejo. Um, Man, I don't even know where to start. First time Candace traveled on a trip with us was back on our first trip to Idaho when I brought Pika, and there was just 6 girls, and we went out there and handled business. And ever since then, every major trip we went on, Candace has just been a hitter. She's been one that I could always count on. Hey, Candace, I need you to handle this. Candace goes out there and handles this.
She had a wonderful singlet last year, by the way, at Pocatello. Not this year. Last year, she had a wonderful singlet at Pocatello. I saw it. That thing was amazing.
Yeah, even last year at association duels when there was a heck of a lineup from the Central Valley and the Coastal Mountain team was stacked, and she really took that leadership role on the team, not just winning matches, but taking the other young freshmen like my daughter under her wing and really leading the way. And that was one of the days I realized that she was more than just a wrestler. The girl had leadership abilities. She's going to Wayland Baptist University next year. There's a bright future in front of her. I remember on just about all the dual teams, man, whenever the matches would get close and she was coming up and she'd walk up and I'd look at her, I'd be like, Candace. She'd be like, yeah. I'd look at her, I'd be like, I need a pin here. And it got to the point to where she'd start walking up to me and I'd be like, Candace. And she'd be like, let me guess, coach, you need a pin here. You know what I'm saying? It was just, she's one of those hitters, so I'm definitely going to miss not just watching her, but I'm going to miss her being around. It's like sending out one of my own daughters. So Candace Corlejo, we're cheering for you, and can't wait to follow your career the next 4 years.
Nice. Alrighty, fellas. Well, I think everybody's done listening to us flap our gums. Any parting shots, Josh?
No, great job for cadets and juniors representing the state. Thanks for all the volunteers that went and coached our daughters, were trainers, doctors that all took part. Some of the boys coaches that came and helped the girls. It, it, it was great. Glad to see that California represented. So appreciate it. Good luck. Hopefully we can keep that fire going and get that next group of girls to keep competing and representing California nationally and internationally.
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah, that's it. Just job well done, California. It's nice to bring home the hardware in both divisions. We get to walk around for another year saying, "Hey, we are the double champs." Great job. I've got nothing else to say beyond that. Great job, wrestlers, and can't wait for this high school season to get started.
I know. I can't imagine. I can't remember another time I've been so pumped up about the season coming up, and it just the young hitters that are coming in, which will be a future podcast. People moving around, with the new rules and stuff like that. Pretty interesting things that are going to be coming up for us on the podcast. Anyhow, just want to say thank you to everybody who's been starting to continue to push us. I'm happy to hear the girls like that we're doing what we're doing, that they're excited to hear their names on the podcast, seeing the likes grow. And again,
without you girls wrestling out there kicking ass, there is no podcast. So y'all keep doing you, and we'll keep giving you the recognition you deserve, because you do deserve it.
And also too, if you guys can just push this podcast, have people listen to it, please ask them to like it, share it, do all that stuff. We want this to grow. The more views we get, the more likes we get, the more we could go to companies and say, hey, look, you need to invest in girls wrestling, because obviously, look, we have an audience. Don't you need customers? And that's the kind of thing that we want. We're doing this just guys cutting time out of their day away from their families to get it done. And one more thing, if anybody under any circumstances feels like we have been derogatory, defamed you, whatever, put out misinformation, we are not going to say we're perfect. We're not going to say we know everything. We're going to say, you know what? Let us know. And you're more than welcome to take time up on the podcast, correct us, scold us, do whatever you need to do. But we're trying our best to just do something that nobody else has done.
This is an open forum. If you really disagree with something that we say, or you have the answer to a question that we've posed, I'm genuinely asking these questions because I don't know the answer. So feel free to hop on here, correct us, point us in the right direction. This is an open invitation. We're not here to ridicule anyone. So, hopefully we hear back from some of you folks.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm going to play us out with our music. Again,
that's number 3.
Number 3 in the books. Alrighty.
See you for number 4.